So, are you trying to find a new construction home in Southern California that actually has a true multi-generational suite? Not a spare bedroom with a bathroom slapped next to it, but a real private self-contained living space? And do you need it within a reasonable distance of Orange County without paying Orange County prices? Well, today I'm at Serenity Grove in Chino Hills. We're about like a half an hour to Irvine in a natural canyon setting, and we're less than half the price of a comparable home in Irvine. Now, stay with me because I'm also going to give you two very important reasons why you may not want to buy a home in this community, and they're not what you might think. So, we're going to get started with our walkthrough first, including that really interesting multi-gen suite. All right, so as we get started with our tour, as always, we're going to start with the kitchen. Now, obviously, this doesn't really need to be said too many times, but you know, this is upgraded. This has all been upgraded. This is a model home. This is not the standard that you're going to get. So I'm not going to dwell too much on things like fancy countertops and upgraded appliances. They're not standard, but I will say we are cooking with gas. So that's a positive, right? And we don't want to see electric in here, but you can see that you have nice sized kitchen island, plenty of room to be dining on here. Then you have, I wouldn't say it's a formal dining room, but you have plenty of space here to get a good sized table in. And this is like, is that 6, 7, 8 seats? So plenty of room there. You can probably get a bigger table in there if you wanted to. And then I'm going to swing back over here. You have a sitting area, or they've done it as a sitting area, but little extra space here. And then we'll come back over here. There's a pantry. You have a walk-in pantry. Honestly, not that for the size of the home, it's honestly not the biggest pantry I've ever seen. Let me see if the garage is open. I don't think so. No, garage is not open, but it's a 3-car garage with a tandem space. And then we have our living room. And then I'm going to take you outside, look at the yard here in a moment, but this is a really good sized covered California roof. You have long hallway. And now I'm going to take you into the multi-gen suite, which is the big feature here downstairs. So the first thing that we notice in here is a kitchen. Now it's not a hot kitchen. You've got, I think that is just a microwave, but you have counter space, you have a sink, you have a little refrigerator. And then I'll swing around here so you can see the living room that belongs to the multi-gen suite. And I really wanted to highlight this because so many homes nowadays, they just have like a downstairs bedroom and a bathroom, and that's it. But this is a full-size suite. You get their own laundry. So room for a stackable laundry. Full-size bathroom with a stand-in shower, and then the bedroom. Not a walk-in closet, but still decent size there. So I'll just sort of swing around here. You can see you easily get a queen size bed. So it really feels very private in here. If you have somebody who'll be living here, an older family member, or even as sort of a transitional space for a teenager before they go out on their own. There is no exit outside, so you can't really use this as like a standalone rental space because there's no way to get in and out without going through the house. So just one thing to consider there. And now before we go upstairs, so we have the bathroom in here, so we don't have to be using anybody's private bathroom for guests. And then now let's head outside. So like I said, you have this really nice looking California room. Keep in mind the lot sizes are all decent, but they're all going to be different layouts. So the lot, the way they've done it here, that just gives you some design ideas. Some lots are going to be bigger and some are going to be a little bit smaller. So this thing that you notice here, super quiet. That is one of the benefits of living out here in Carbon Canyon. It's very sort of a rural feel without it being actually too far away. You're still, maybe 15 minutes from Costco, grocery stores, etc. It's a nice little, I guess they were going for the Zen garden idea there. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. I do want to go through some numbers with you, as well as talk about those two things that you really need to consider before you decide if you want to purchase a home in this community. And then we'll head upstairs and have a look at the second floor. All right, so let's pause here and go through the important numbers. And then I'm going to give you those two things about this community that I think every serious buyer needs to hear about before they fall in love with floor plan. Because unlike most general real estate agents who are not new construction certified and love to make these videos while they fawn over the model home decorations, if you watch my channel, you know I'm not here to show you nice decorations. I'm here to help you buy new construction homes the right way. So first, let's start with the good news on taxes. Mello-Roos here is currently estimated at $40 a year, not per month. Per year. So if you've been shopping Ontario, Eastvale, Rancho Cucamonga, Orange County, you already know that $3,000 to $5,000 a year in Mello-Roos is just the standard line item in new construction right now. Serenity Grove is different because of its location. So the base tax rate here is 1.1%, completely standard, but that Mello-Roos adds virtually nothing on top of that. Now, concern number one, the HOA is $655 a month. And I want to be direct with you. That covers community landscaping only. No pool, no clubhouse, no amenities. This is a 50-home community, so those fixed maintenance costs get spread across very few homeowners, and that's why the number is what it is. So what does that HOA cover? Landscape beautification and landscape fire mitigation, which is ensuring that the area around the community and around the homes are cleared of brush and other combustible plant materials to create a fire break safety zone. That's expensive work, and I know this because I'm a board member at my HOA and on the landscape committee, so I deal with fire mitigation plans throughout the year. So don't think of it so much as like an HOA cost, but as part of your insurance package to help keep your home and the community safe. Now, concern number two is a little bit bigger and more important, and it concerns this neighborhood as much as this specific community. Now, Trumark built these homes to the proper fire risk mitigation code. So, full house sprinklers, ember blocking vents, irrigated fuel modification buffers around each home, and the homes are built to California's wildland urban interface codes. It's the most stringent fire construction standards in the state, and that's important and it matters for safety, but also so you can get insurance for your new home. But I'm going to tell you what the Chino Valley Fire Chief has also said publicly, that Carbon Canyon is the area of greatest fire concern in all of Chino Hills. And CAL FIRE classifies most of this canyon at the higher end of the wildfire risk spectrum. And the evacuation picture is something you need to understand before you buy here. This Carbon Canyon Road is a 2-lane highway, and it's the primary exit from the area. So back when the Blue Ridge fire hit in 2020, thousands of residents from all these communities were directed westbound down that one road. So there are 2 backup gates, one through Volano, one to Eucalyptus Avenue, but whether they're open depends entirely on where the fire is and what direction they need you to be going. And they're not guaranteed exit paths. So Serenity Grove adds 50 homes to that exit path alongside 2 existing neighborhoods. So the fire chief's guidance is this: if you see smoke or fire, you do not wait for an evacuation order. You have a plan, you leave early, and you treat it like a real contingency, not an afterthought. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't buy in this community, but it does mean you need extra awareness and preparation so you always have an escape plan in mind because of the surrounding environment and limited roads. So Trumark did their job building a home to the proper code standards, but you need to do yours, which is build an evacuation plan before you close escrow and not after. All right, so that's the full picture on the money part and the risk. We have more to see upstairs. And also, before we finish this video, I have one extra surprise I want to show you in another model, which is a really unique option which you can add to that home, or the multi-generational suite to this home. Also, down below in the video, there's a link to my microsite specific to this community where I sort of rehash the information that I've been talking about. The model homes are there with photos, the schools, everything else is there that you need to know about this community. So remember that link below. All right, we'll continue the tour. So as we start upstairs, first thing we're going to see here is a really nice loft area. You could convert this into another bedroom if you need the extra space, but I don't know, this looks really good as a loft. And then got the guest bathroom. This one has a tub shower. It does have one sink. I think in the design center, you can elect to have dual sinks in here because that's not a huge amount of convenience for the 2 other bedrooms that are sharing that bathroom. So guest bedroom number 1 with the, sorry about that, the smoke detector that's going to chirp at us. But real good sized bedroom. They have, I want to call this like a double bed. You can easily get a queen size bed in here. And there's a walk-in closet. It's something that we don't often see in guest bedrooms. Here's the other guest bedroom. This one is even bigger, and it has its own ensuite bathroom. You have the shower, single vanity sink, and walk-in closet. So it's almost like a mini master suite. So I think this layout so far is pretty good. Now we're going to head down here to the primary bedroom with a quick look at the laundry. This one, again, upgraded with the sink and the extra overhead cabinets. Standard is usually a wire rack shelf that goes above the washing machines, which are not included, by the way. All right. Primary suite, really good size. That's definitely a king size bed, and there's still plenty of room. And this is interesting what they've done here. Sort of this extra shelf space with a couple of the windows. That's kind of neat. But there's also more stuff to keep clean. All right, a little storage area there. This is the, let me come in here and I can swing around. It's a pretty decent sized closet. I don't know, I think it's a little narrow, but remember all these built-ins, that's Design Center, or you call California closets afterwards and put all this stuff in. So probably be just wire racks and shelves in here as the standard. We have a vanity set number 1. So this bathroom is going to have sort of this split vanity idea. One here and one over there. Standing tub. And this is a gigantic shower. Let me open this up so you're not seeing that reflection. Obviously upgraded tiles, but even the standard with the regular tile, I mean, this is like a humongous shower. And normally I don't show you the toilet, but I like what they've done here. I believe that's standard, where they've added that plug so you can add the washlet toilet seat. I know that is not standard, but the plug probably should be. I know in my house we had to add them with an electrician after the fact, which was a little bit of a hassle. So that's a neat addition. So another look here from a different angle of the primary bedroom. And you want to look outside a little bit. You can just see sort of from the bedroom. It's fairly quiet, really nice little hillside views there. This is the neighbor, which is the other model. So the homes are not stuck together. You have quite a bit of space. And then, by the way, I'm going to show you this here. You can see, I'm going to put my finger there, right there, that wall. So that's a retaining wall. That's also part of, for the community, fire mitigation, the hillside, all that irrigation. So that's part of that $655 a month that has to maintain all of that. Okay, so that's the upstairs. And if you're still with me, we're going to talk a little bit about our special incentives that are available at this community. All right, so actually I lied. I had one more thing to show you. So earlier I mentioned about the surprise in Plan 3. This is part of it here, but it's actually a separate prep kitchen. So now this is only available in Plan 3, and the multi-gen suite is only available in Plan 1. Unfortunately, if you really like the extra prep kitchen, which is here, which is great if you're entertaining or you're making something that, you know, you sort of want to keep the ventilation in here. This is an option for Plan 3 only. And then I'm going to show you, if you don't want the flex kitchen, then it's just a empty flex space. So it can be like a giant pantry area. And then this is extra storage that comes in here with the Plan 3 and the prep kitchen. So that's sort of what I wanted to end with. Prep kitchen in Plan 3, multi-gen suite in Plan 1. And those were the extra really exciting add-on options. Okay, on to the incentives. So what did you think about this home? What did you think about that really interesting prep kitchen in the other model? So lots of interesting things here in this community. You had that multi-gen suite, the prep kitchen, depending on which model you go for. Also wanted to talk to you about some of the incentives that we have available here. So $20,000 in flex funds, which are available for you to do a rate buy down. You can put it towards closing costs. You can put it towards the design center, solar, or we can mix and match. But of course, when you work with me, I always try to negotiate more and better so we get you a better deal on the home. So contact information is up on the screen. Remember to reach out. Let me know if you have any questions about this community or you'd like to schedule an appointment to come look at the models. Remember, we have to come here together the first visit so that can ensure that you can be properly represented. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the tour. We will see you on the next video.